So, as expected, Call of Duty World War 2 was not announced for the Switch in yesterday's reveal livestream. There was no Switch logo in the reveal trailer. There was no mention of a Switch version in that reveal livestream. There is no Switch version listed by retailers such as GameStop, Amazon, Game over here in the UK. So in this Black Ops Wii gameplay, which if my memory serves correctly, a hacker joined this game and turned on, flipping moon jumping. In this video I will be asking what happens now for Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch, and pretty much there are three options that could happen over the next few months, and pretty much what I will be doing in this video is going through all three of those options and then giving you my thoughts on whether I think Call of Duty World War 2 will come out for the Switch. So let's get on to the first option, and that first option is that Call of Duty World War 2 is still coming out for the Switch, but it will get announced at a later date, which is similar to what happened with previous Call of Duty Nintendo versions. Pretty much in the past, Call of Duty on a Nintendo console has been announced later on than the other versions. So Black Ops 2 got announced in September 2012 for the Wii U, and Call of Duty Ghosts got announced in August 2013. I can't remember the exact month. It was definitely later on than the other versions got announced in April-May time. So the same thing could happen with Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch. In my opinion, I think the latest that a Switch version, if a Switch version does exist, I think the latest that a Switch version should get announced is at E3. I think E3 got a lot of people looking at that. I think, Call of Duty World War 2 popping up in the Nintendo Direct or Nintendo press conference. I think that is like the only acceptable sort of method to reveal Call of Duty World War 2 for the Switch if a Switch version does exist, because pretty much the problems with announcing a Call of Duty version for a Nintendo console, the problems with announcing that later on is that they made such a low-key sort of announcement. There was no big deal made of it, so not a lot of people were aware of Call of Duty existing on the Wii U, for example. So Call of Duty sold poorly on the Wii U. I think it would have sold better if it did get announced at the same time, or if it did get more publicity about it. Pretty much like Call of Duty announcing a Wii U version of their game, there was just no big deal made of it, so there was just no awareness there for that version. So that for me meant that not a lot of people were aware of Call of Duty existing on the Wii U. So for me that led to low sales for Call of Duty on the Wii U. So for me, I think Call of Duty World War 2, it needs a big announcement. It needs like a Payday 2 sort of announcement for the Switch. Like, it needs to get included within a Nintendo Direct, in my opinion. It shouldn't be like a low-key press release announcement. It should get announced in Nintendo's E3 coverage or in a future Direct if, a Call of Duty World War 2 Switch version does exist. I'm not sure who is to blame for that, like Nintendo versions of Call of Duty getting announced later on, but it definitely doesn't help that version. I'm not sure if Activision or Nintendo is to blame. I know a lot of rumours knocking about are saying that Nintendo is to blame for that. But you got games like Sonic Forces that got announced for the Switch before it was even the Switch. Like when Sonic Forces was just Project Sonic 2017, a NX logo appeared in that reveal trailer. So I'm not really sure if Nintendo is to blame for these late announcements of Call of Duty ports for their systems. So yeah, pretty much I think Call of Duty World War 2, if a Switch version does exist, I think the latest it should get announced is E3 2017. That is the perfect platform now to announce a Switch version, because every gamer on the planet looks at E3 2017. Everybody pays attention to E3 2017. in the gaming community. So that is the perfect time in Nintendo's press conference to announce a Call of Duty World War 2 version. And a rumour knocking about, which I will go into in a future video, pretty much you got a rumour saying that Call of Duty World War 2 is coming out for the Switch, but Sledgehammer will not be porting it. A separate developer that has a history of porting games to Nintendo systems will be porting Call of Duty World War 2 to the Switch, and it will get announced at E3 2017. So yeah, it's just, I think that is, like I said, that is the perfect time to now announce a Switch version. So that is the first option. So Call of Duty World War 2 could still be coming out for the Switch, but it will get announced later on. It's not the end of the road at the moment. One thing I would say is that if we do go into September, we hear nothing about a Call of Duty World War 2 version for the Switch, then I think it is safe to say that the game isn't coming out for the Switch. So for me, September is that cut-off point. So they could announce it like what they have done before with Call of Duty on the Wii U, where they announced it for a press release in July, August time. So yeah, it could get announced later on. The second option is that the game could not be coming out for the Switch at all. Maybe Activision could have looked at Call of Duty Wii U sales, and they weren't the best. Maybe they would have thought, you know what, there's no point making a Call of Duty game for the Switch because it wouldn't be profitable. They would make more money from supply drops than a Call of Duty Switch version probably. That's probably how they see it. Maybe they don't see a Switch version being profitable, but I think this time is different just because I think a lot of people will be appealed by playing Call of Duty anytime, anywhere, with anyone. Seriously, you could hook up your Switch to your phone's hotspot and you could play Call of Duty World War 2 multiplayer on the bus, in the park. If you're flipping bored at school, whip out your Switch at the back of the class. You know what, stuff this stupid history lesson, let's just play Call of Duty World War 2. Or if you're in the stupid meeting at work, stuff it. I'm whipping out my Switch, playing Call of Duty World War 2. Do you know what I mean? I think people will be appealed by that. So I think this time is different. I really, really do. I think a lot of people will be appealed by the portability factor of the Switch and being able to take Call of Duty anytime, anywhere, and play it with anyone. Seriously, I think people will be appealed by that. But again, Call of Duty sold poorly on the Wii U, so maybe that will be a massive factor. I did talk about this in a previous Call of Duty World War 2 Nintendo Switch video where I talked about the factors for Call of Duty World War 2 to come out for the Switch, and one of those key factors is sales for Call of Duty on the Wii U. They were really low, and like I said, maybe Activision might think, you know what, it's not profitable to make Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch. We wouldn't make that much profit at all. Pretty much we'll make more money off of the supply drops. You may as well not make a Switch version and just put supply drops in the PS4 and Xbox One versions, and then we can make a lot of profit that way. Because Activision, that's just how they see it. They are a business, so maybe they will see the lack of sales on the Wii U as a massive factor to not bring the game over to the system. So the next factor is something which I haven't really thought about before, and that is the fact that obviously Call of Duty World War 2 is part of Call of Duty's 3-year development cycle. So pretty much Sledgehammer Games would have developed this game, or would have started developing this game around about when Black Ops 2 was starting to, or Black Ops 3 I should say, was starting to get revealed. So Advanced Warfare came out in 2014, and pretty much Black Ops 3 was getting announced May 2015. So that is when I think Call of Duty World War 2 was starting to get developed for the other systems, and at that point nobody knew what the NX was. Like, Nintendo didn't show off the NX to third-party developers until E3 2016. So maybe that is a factor as well. Maybe this game is too late for the Switch. Maybe this game was in development starting from 2015, and maybe Sledgehammer, Activision, maybe they didn't get Switch dev kits until until 2016, and maybe that is a factor on why Call of Duty World War 2 might not come out for the Switch. But then again, you got other games like Sonic Forces coming out for the Switch. You got other games like Skylanders that came out for the Switch, and even though that came out for the other platforms before. So I'm not really sure if that is a massive factor. I'm sure they could port that game in about a year, pretty much. Having said that, I'm not really that knowledgeable. Maybe it would take more than that, but then again, we've got Miyamoto come out and say that Unreal Engine 4 games would take around about a year to port over to the Switch. But then again, Call of Duty isn't being run on Unreal Engine 4. It is using a modified Quake engine that Infinity Ward made, or the original Infinity Ward made for Call of Duty 4. Well, actually, I think it's still using the original. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure whether it's still using the Call of Duty 1, 2, 3 engine, or maybe they use a different engine for Call of Duty 4. But pretty much the point is, we just don't know whether Activision, Sledgehammer, maybe they could port over that Infinity Ward engine to the Switch in time for a Call of Duty World War 2 version 2 exists. And the last point for a Call of Duty game, or Call of Duty World War 2 not coming out for the Switch, and it was very well made by Muck Sherlock on Twitter, and that is the fact that Call of Duty World War 2, pretty much what Sledgehammer want is they want to make a realistic experience. It definitely reminded me of the original Star Wars Battlefront 2015 remake from DICE, where you saw Sledgehammer go out and travel to film locations, or not film locations, but to actual locations in the Second World War, similar to what DICE did to Star Wars Battlefront, where they went to specific film locations to get Hoth. So with Sledgehammer, they went to like Normandy, so to capture the sounds, capture the scenery and stuff like that. And they are putting a heavy focus on making a realistic experience. So maybe with the Switch being less powerful than the Xbox One and PS4, maybe they don't want to downgrade their experience. And I know a lot of people say to me at this point, oh, Call of Duty World War 2 it will not be able to run on the Switch. But if we look at Black Ops Wii, Wii to 360 and PS3, that is a much bigger power gap than the Switch to the Xbox One and PS4. I definitely feel like they could release a downgraded version for the Switch. I really do think it is possible, and I think I'm going to go into this in a separate video as well. But you got Nvidia, this time around releasing stuff that will help developers to port their games over to the Switch. So you got the same sort of tools in place for the Switch that the other systems use as well. So it's much easier to port games to the Switch than it was for the Wii and Wii U. And like I said, if Call of Duty Wii, if we got a Call of Duty game, I think Switch is definitely capable of getting a downgraded Call of Duty experience. And for me, that would just be perfectly fine. It really would be perfectly fine if I just got the game and it was, slightly downgraded from the Xbox One version. I definitely think it is possible, but again, that is another factor on why maybe Call of Duty World War 2 might not come out for the Switch. So we got sales, we got the fact that maybe Sledgehammer didn't get a dev kit in time, and we got what did I just mention? The fact that the Switch might not be able to run Call of Duty World War 2. Maybe Sledgehammer don't want to downgrade their vision for Call of Duty World War 2. But, like I said, I definitely think the Switch is capable of running Call of Duty World War 2. But I'm going to go into that in a separate video. So, the last option is that we don't get Call of Duty World War 2, but we either get a different game, maybe a port of an old game. Maybe we do get Call of Duty 4 remastered, for the Switch, or maybe we will get a custom version of Call of Duty, kind of like what the PS Vita got. I can't really see. I think Activision would be daft missing out on the Switch, just because you got, the Switch. It's selling really well at this moment in time. So I think not Nintendo. I think Activision will be daft to miss out on that market. I think Activision should at least tap into that market with some sort of Call of Duty experience. So maybe the last option is feasible, where we do get maybe Call of Duty 4 remastered, and I'll be perfectly fine with that. I'll pick that up day one, but of course we'll pick Call of Duty World War 2 up for my PS4, or maybe we'll get a custom version of Call of Duty, like an exclusive Call of Duty game for the Switch. But having said that, would they really want to make an exclusive Call of Duty game for the Switch? I just can't really see them doing that. But yeah, they're just all of the options on the table, and any of these options could be played out over the next few months. I definitely feel like this is a realistic video covering all of the realistic options, but just want to end this video with my thoughts. Do I think Call of Duty World War 2 will come out for the Switch? I am definitely leaning over to the no camp at the moment. I really do hope this game does come out for the Switch, but I just can't see it, just because we haven't seen a Call of Duty game on a Nintendo platform since 2013's Call of Duty Ghosts. And I just think that is the end of the road for Call of Duty on a Nintendo system. I know the Switch completely different to the Wii U, but I just don't think Activision will see the Nintendo audience as being an audience for Call of Duty. I just think they see it as maybe an audience for Skylanders, and that is it. I just don't feel like they see the Nintendo audience as being an audience that will go out and pick up Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch. It's like Nintendo Life. I just don't think Activision sees Nintendo and its fan base as being a fan base that will go out and pick up Call of Duty World War 2. I just don't think Activision sees the fan base in that way. And Nintendo Life, they ran a poll pretty much asking, would you pick up Call of Duty World War 2 for the Switch? And the vast majority of people said no, and a lot of the comments said, oh, we don't want this game on the Switch, which is completely stupid, because the more games on the Switch, the better. And I just want to end this with, if Call of Duty World War 2 doesn't come out for the Switch, then that is a massive blow for the Switch, and that would pretty much mean, I think, you could spell the end of, getting AAA third-party support on the Switch. I think you will just get the odd game here and there, but I don't think you will see. Like, I expected games like Tekken to come over, games like that, like Resident Evil. But if Call of Duty doesn't come over, then that is pretty much it for all of the other AAA games, because Call of Duty has always been on a Nintendo system. So if you aren't getting Call of Duty, then you can kiss goodbye to other AAA games as well. But maybe we'll get some outliers in there, like maybe Rocket League or Overwatch, like what we are getting with Payday 2. But I don't think you will see, if Call of Duty doesn't come out for the Switch, I don't think you will see that many Western AAA third-party games on the Switch. And that will be a blow. I think a lot of people will be put off by that. A lot of people will see, the Switch, I want to play Call of Duty on the go. Like, portability, being able to play games anywhere, a lot of people will be appealed by that. May not necessarily be with Nintendo games, but maybe with third-party games. So if the Switch doesn't get third-party games, then maybe we'll miss out on people that might pick up the Switch as a second console. But yeah, I really hope this video has recorded. Otherwise, I've spent the last God knows how many minutes talking to myself, pretty much. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Call of Duty World War 2 will come out for the Switch? Do you think it will get announced later on? Do you think it isn't coming out for the Switch? Maybe you think different there to me. Maybe you've got another reason that I haven't listed, or another factor that I haven't listed in this video. Make sure you are listing it in the comment section below. probably have overrun that Black Ops Wii gameplay, so you are watching some Modern Warfare 3 Wii gameplay. And yeah, that's what I will be doing in my next 2 videos. We'll be uploading Call of Duty Wii gameplay, so we'll go more in depth talking about Call of Duty being able to run on the Switch. And I can't remember the previous topic that was. Oh yeah, that rumour knocking about a developer porting World War 2 for the Switch. We'll go into those topics more in depth, offer my thoughts on it more, whether I think those rumours are true or not. Just go more in depth in those topics. But yeah, I just thought I'd cover pretty much everything with this one video, and I really would appreciate if you guys hit that thumbs up button and share this video out to people that may be interested in Call of Duty World War 2 and may be interested to see what the hell's happening with Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch. I definitely feel like this is a video that, you know, covers all of the bases. So yeah, I think this is a really good informative video for people that may not necessarily be clued up on Call of Duty on a Nintendo system. But yeah, I really do hope Call of Duty World War 2 does come out for the Switch. And of course, if we do get any Call of Duty World War 2 Nintendo Switch news, and of course I will cover it on this channel, so make sure you are clicking that subscribe button for everything Call of Duty World War 2 Nintendo Switch. And yeah, pretty much to end this video, I just want to give you my quick thoughts on Call of Duty World War 2 on the Switch. Got a bit of a dead leg, so you might have just heard me get up off my seat. So I'm trying to wiggle about, get some flipping blood flowing through my leg. But Call of Duty World War 2, I sort of predicted the future with my trailer reaction, which I probably have deleted by now. I wasn't going to keep that video up for that long anyway. It was just only going to be a short little thing anyway. But pretty much in that trailer reaction that I did record earlier on in the week, I did record that video before the trailer went live. I said we're not going to be seeing any gameplay, we're not going to be seeing multiplayer. So for me, it is really hard to judge World War 2 without seeing the actual game and without seeing the bit that I'm going to be playing the most, that is the multiplayer. So yeah, I'm interested in Call of Duty World War 2, but yeah, I'm not excited for the game yet just because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the game yet. I haven't seen 1 second of gameplay, so I don't know what this game is going to be about. And that is how this game reminds me of Battlefront 2015. Like, I've got the fear that Sledgehammer will do what DICE did and just focus on the graphics and forget about making a flipping good gameplay experience that is fun and not bland, and that is, you know, got replayability value to it. So they're just the fears that I've got at the moment. But yeah, definitely I'm interested in Call of Duty World War 2, and hopefully it will come out for the Switch, but I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. I really can't. But like I said, I think Activision will be daft not to release a Call of Duty game on the Switch. I definitely think there is a appetite there, and I think they should test the water somewhat with Call of Duty World War 2. If that game doesn't sell, then yeah, then you can say, no, we're not going to bother anymore because you didn't bother picking up Call of Duty on the Switch. You didn't pick up Call of Duty World War 2, so why should we release more games? Definitely think they should release a game to test out the waters, to test out the market. But that's just my opinion. And yeah, this video has gone on for longer than what I thought it would do. Hopefully you have enjoyed the 2 gameplays in the background. If there is more gameplay left, then I will leave it to run. But for the moment, that is it for this video. And leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.